But not for the purpose of vengeance, my love, for the order, for the good of the Brotherhood. To take it back and make it great once more. If you can do that, and if you can let it take precedence over your own thoughts of revenge, the Order will love you as a father who shows it the true path. If you let yourself be blinded by anger and emotion, how can you expect them to listen when what you teach is the other way? Hello, and welcome to Visions of the Past. My name is Andrew, and I am the host of this Assassin's Creed lore podcast. This is episode 33, and we're talking about the woman that gave us that quote, Altair's wife, Maria Thorpe. Maria's name is the Latin form of Mary, which is derived from the Hebrew name Miriam. The name has a debated meaning, though many believe it is to mean sea of bitterness or sea of sorrow. Some sources cite alternate definitions of rebellion, wished for a child, and mistress or lady of the sea. The surname Thorpe is an ancient name of Anglo-Saxon and Old Scandinavian origin, from places in England named with Old Norse or Old Dutch themes. It's also a form of the rarer name from the pre-7th century Old English. Generally, the name indicates an area of Danish settlement. The word itself means a small hamlet or village that grew by colonization from a larger settlement, originally being an outlying farm dependent upon a nearby village. Maria is found in the original Assassin's Creed game, Assassin's Creed Bloodlines, and Assassin's Creed Revelations, and in a few novels, namely Assassin's Creed The Secret Crusade and Assassin's Creed Revelations, and the comic Assassin's Creed Reflections. We also see her in a cameo role in Assassin's Creed 2 and on the website Assassin's Creed Initiates. Born in Leicester, England in 1161, Maria chose to act and dress as a tomboy throughout her youth. Because of this, she was often punished by her parents. She married sometime after her 18th birthday to Lord Peter Hallaton, but was not interested in duties of a chatelaine, which would include running the affairs of Hallaton Hall in Leicestershire, and the marriage was annulled after just 4 years. The combination of this disgrace, along with her own dreams of honor and glory, led Maria to leave England and join the Crusaders in the Holy Land. At the time, it was uncommon for women to participate in combat, so Maria would often disguise herself as a man and showed promise among the other Crusaders. This drew the attention of Crusader Lieutenant and Templar Grand Master Robert de Sab. Eventually, Robert would learn Maria's true gender, but continued to support her, going so far as to appoint her his personal steward. Maria respected Robert to the point that she would do anything for him. They were so close that he gave her a ring as a gift, and Maria kept it close to her and cherished it. After the deaths of 8 powerful Templars at the hands of Altair ibn al-Ahad in the summer of 1191, Robert figured he was next on the assassins' list. He publicly announced that he intended to attend the funeral of Majd ad-Din in an attempt to avoid the assassin's blade, and as a show of mutual cooperation and respect between Muslims and Crusaders. Instead of waiting himself for Altair, Robert had Maria act as a decoy and take his place at the funeral. Maria saw Altair at the funeral, which led to a great number of Templars descending on him and seizing him. Surprised, Altair eventually overpowered the soldiers and pinned Maria to the ground. Altair removed her helm, expecting to see Robert's eyes, only to find out that it was Maria. Altair was so shocked that he called the situation sorcery. Maria corrected him, saying she was a distraction because his assassinations had not gone unnoticed, and that Robert was headed to Arsuf to propose a truce between Saracen and Crusaders so that they could destroy the assassin fortress at Masyaf, and reminded Altair that he had assassinated men on both sides of the war. Expecting to be killed herself, Maria was surprised that Altair spared her life, but warned her not to follow. She returned to Acre to continue her service as a Templar, while Altair went on with his mission and killed Robert. When the time came for the Templar fleet to leave Acre for Cyprus, Robert's successor, Armand Bouchard, did not arrange for Maria to leave with him. Altair appeared to Maria after the fleet left, saying he wanted to talk to her. She instead confronted and engaged him in a sword fight. Altair would best her again and interrogated her about the Templars' plans for Cyprus. She revealed little, and Altair took her prisoner, hoping to use her to lure out Templars. The two traveled to Limassol, though Maria escaped following a Templar attack on the safe house and where they were hiding. After escaping, Maria tried to warn Bouchard of the assassin's presence in Limassol, but he returned her information with suspicion because he couldn't believe how she had miraculously escaped the assassins a second time. Even after trying to reason with him, Bouchard suggested that she was the reason for Robert's fall from grace because she was a woman and ordered her to be locked in a prison. On her way, Altair rescued her from the Templars' custody and again took her as prisoner. She was still angry and in her rage vowed to kill him. He advised her that the best way to gain favor with the Templars would be with the Apple of Eden and not his death. The two would travel by ship to Kyrenia. During the trip, they talked about Maria's life and motivations to be a crusader. She told him about her previous marriage and her childhood, noting that her ideal husband would embrace her for who she is, which was something her previous husband did not do. She also told him that while she cared for Robert, she knew he had used her as bait and believed his death was fitting. Altair spoke about the philosophy of Empedocles with the quote, "Only a mind free of impediments is capable of grasping the chaotic beauty of the world." Maria resisted the thought, but took interest in it by asking whether chaotic beauty was truly something to be celebrated. Altair answered the question by stating that while freedom did bring hardship, it was worth preserving, and would remain that the order and peace the Templars seek require servility and imprisonment, a statement that Maria found to be ironic. They arrived in Kyrenia, but were attacked by pirates when trying to leave the ship. Maria took this opportunity to kick Altair down a ladder, forcing him to take on the pirates alone while she escaped. Her freedom wouldn't last long, as she would be attacked by members of the ship's crew. She was saved by Marcos, a member of the Cypriot resistance. Because of his honesty and a common dislike of Templars, Altair trusted Marcos to keep an eye on Maria. While out investigating his next target, the bull, Altair found that bounties had been put on him and Maria. Altair rushed back to the harbor safe house and found it was under the attack of the Templars. Altair, Maria, and Marcos defended the attack, and then went to a different safe house in Kyrenia. Afterward, Maria mocked Altair for his plan to assassinate the bull, and inadvertently revealed that he was known as Moloch, and was living in Kantara Castle. With this information, Altair left to assassinate him, and by the time he returned, Maria had been retrieved by Templars, who raided the safe house while he was gone. Maria ended up in the hands of Moloch's son Shalim, but would escape on her own, head to St. Hilarion Castle dressed as a consort, and make her entrance inside a palanquin. When she arrived, she confronted Salim's twin brother Shahar, and demanded to know the Templars' plans for the Apple of Eden. She was told that the Templars would achieve order by any means, even if that meant enslavement. Altair then entered the room, searching for Shalim, with two pursuers in tow. Maria killed the pursuers, but refused to help Altair and fled the scene. After Altair tried to use the Apple of Eden to quiet a riot in Kyrenia, it would be Maria who killed a mysterious Templar working for Armand Bouchard, who was intent on taking the apple. While remaining distrusting of Altair's motives, she led him to a Templar archive under Limassol Castle, where she would engage Armand Bouchard in combat, only to be knocked unconscious. After the defeat of Bouchard, Maria and Altair fled the archive, during which Maria informed Altair of her wish to leave the Templar Order and that she had no interest in returning to England. Her intent would be to go as far as India or the far edge of the world. After Altair claimed he planned to return to Masyaf and use the apple to learn more of the world, she would be a voice of caution, stating that he was treading a thin line with its use. After Altair expressed an interest in accompanying her, she would decide to go on to Masyaf instead of traveling the world. The pair would become romantically involved and would marry in 1195 in Limassol, out of respect for the Cypriots who made the island a key stronghold for the Brotherhood. Marcos would even be a guest of honor, and later in 1195, Maria would give birth to their first child, a boy they named Durim, and 2 years later, in 1197, she would give birth to a second son, Seth. Although she entered the order during this time, There were some assassins, such as Abbess Sophane, who secretly loathed her for being an outsider and Englishwoman, and never fully respecting her. Constantly supportive of Altair, the pair would be inseparable, only being apart for an extended period of time once in 1204, when Altair attempted to place an assassin bureau in Constantinople. During the beginning of their relationship, Maria would tolerate Altair's use of the apple of Eden, and even once would ask what she saw of their family's future within it. Eventually, though, she would come to believe it was taking control of him, and demand that he release himself of it, something that Altair would not do. In about 1217, Maria would begin a journey to Mongolia with Altair and Durim in an attempt to assassinate Genghis Khan, because his army was keeping the assassins from expanding their influence. It would take 10 years to find the Khan, and in that time, the family would join the Mongolian assassin Quilang Gal, but on August 15, 1227, Altair would have failed an attempt at assassinating the Khan, which would see him injured. Maria would tend to his wounds, but after Durim and Quillan devised a plan to finish the assassination, Maria and other Mongolian assassins would fire flaming arrows into Genghis Khan's camp, flushing him out and leading to a successful assassination at the hands of Durim after Quillang Gal shot out his horse from under him. Arriving back to Masyaf in 1228, they would find the place different than how they had left. Upon their return, an assassin by the name of Swami would greet them and inform them that Seth had left for Alamut. Malik was imprisoned and that a council led by Abbas was formed to take control of the order. Durim would leave for Alamut in search of Seth, and Swami would direct Altair and Maria to a residence on the west side of the castle instead of the expected master's tower. The next day, Altair and Maria would meet with the council and find that it was made up of the most weak-minded assassins in the order. After giving a summary of their journey, Abbas revealed that Malik was imprisoned for the murder of Seth. The pair would return to their residence and mourn their son's death and contemplated their next move. Altair, full of grief, would be shaken enough to consider Abbas's accusation of Malik valid. Maria would rebuke it, pointing out the flaws and the contradictions in Abbas's account, and pointing out that it was most likely Abbas's doing, because of them, and shamed Altair for doubting his closest friend. After Altair responded with anger, Maria told him once again to destroy the apple, saying that it had made his mind open to ridiculous considerations. After Altair freed Malik, Maria would tend to his wounds, while he informed the couple that Abbas had Seth killed and the murder weapon planted in his bed. Once Malik fell asleep, Maria and Altair plotted their next course. Altair claimed the need to destroy Abbas, to which Maria agreed, but emphasized that it needed to be for the good of the Brotherhood and not revenge if he wanted to win back the minds of the assassins. Agreeing on a bloodless strategy, they left to confront Abbas. When they entered the courtyard to meet Abbas, they were told that they would learn the reason of their son's death, but only if they gave up the apple. Altair, to Maria's surprise, agreed and presented it to Swami. As Swami went to take it, he informed the couple that prior to Seth's execution, he told Seth that it was Altair who ordered it. This would throw Altair into a rage and caused him to use the apple to free Swami and drive him into self-injury. When Maria attempted to intervene, she would be fatally wounded by Swami in the frenzy. Altair would take her arms, and she told him to be strong before passing away on September 12, 1228, at the age of 67. Altair would be haunted by the loss of his wife, and as he grew older, would suffer nightmares about her death. And it would take 20 years to avenge her and Seth's death when he retook Masyaf and killed Abbas with the hidden gun. Maria was without a doubt determined, driven to accomplish many things within the Templar ranks at a time when women were not seen to be more than housewives or nurses. She was also shown to be harsh and stubborn, but when she found a cause that she could get behind, she got behind it fully. But not to the point to where she couldn't have her mind changed, shown by her being a Templar, but understanding that what they were doing was wrong. She was fiercely loyal, first through Obeir de Sab, to the point that she was willing to sacrifice her life so that he could rally both Saracen and Crusaders' armies to destroy the assassins. And then to Altair, after they settled the fundamental differences that they had and fell in love, she always was behind him even when he was starting to lose himself to the apple of Eden. She was there to be his grounding point. If it was not for her, he would have lost himself to the apple, like many people have before and after him. Throughout the years, I've seen so much of Altair and Maria together, and as a perfect couple that backs each other and clearly loves and trusts each other, that I can't see Altair without her anymore. Thank you for joining me today. Be sure to tune in every Tuesday for new episodes. If you love the Visions of the Past podcast, I'd love for you to subscribe, rate, and give a review on Apple Podcasts. If you have any questions about Assassin's Creed or topics that you'd like me to cover, please feel free to hit me up on Twitter and Instagram at visions_AC, and you can find those links in this episode's show notes. Until next time, my assassin friends, make sure to follow the Creed. And to those Templars listening, may the Father of Understanding guide you.